Today we're going to talk about a little bit more about Pythagorean theorems. And our central question is, what are the steps to solve a missing side? So we talked about Pythagorean theorem yesterday, and we said that it involves a right triangle where the legs are A and B and the hypotenuse is always C. And this is the formula: a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The steps to finding the missing side length for the hypotenuse is going to be 3 steps. The first one is going to be to assign A, B, and C to the sides. Step 2 will be to simplify a squared plus b squared. So that's the left side of the equation. And then the third is going to be to take the square root of both sides. So let's look at a few questions that we have. It says find each missing side length to the nearest tenth. So here we can see this is our 90-degree angle, and across from it is always our hypotenuse, and that's what we're trying to find. So I'm going to put C there. And I know, like, if I rewrote it like this, I could see that this is 4, this is 8, and this is my C, right? We have our a squared plus b squared equals c squared as our formula for Pythagorean theorem. And here we can put this as a, this as b, and c. We don't know what that is. Right, so I'm going to put in as 8 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. Okay, I'm leaving it at c because that's what, I don't know what it is. So that's our first step, assigning a, b, c, and putting it into the formula. Our second step is to simplify the left side, a squared plus b squared. In this case, we have 8 squared plus 4 squared, and we're going to put all of that in the calculator. We get 80, and that is equal to c squared. C squared is 80. C does not equal 80. C squared is 80. The last step to do is to take the square root of both sides. We do that because here this exponent of 2, the opposite of or undoing of the square is going to be taking the square root. And so when that happens, the 2 and the square root, they cancel out, and we just have c on one side. And on the left side, we're going to put that in the calculator. So square root of 80, we get 8.9. So that means C is equal to 8.9. That is our answer. Let's look at the next one. So here again, we're still looking for our hypotenuse. So this one, it can be A, it can be B, whatever you like. Remember, those are the legs, so it doesn't really matter which one is A and B. So I have 3 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared, and that's what I'm trying to look for, c. I'm going to simplify the left side. That's my second step after labeling the sides. And let's do 3 squared plus 6 squared in the calculator, and you get 45. Okay. And then c squared, right? You could also do this by hand. We know 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9, and then 6 squared is 36. 36 plus 9 gives us 45. Okay. So now our last step is to take the square root of both sides to get rid of that exponent 2. And so I get c on one side, and on the left side I get square root of 45 in the calculator, and we get 6.7. And so c is 6.7. Let's do 2 more. So again, here we're looking for the hypotenuse here, and we got a squared, or a as 7 and b as 10. Remember, you can interchange them if you wanted to. And c squared, we don't know what that is because that's what we're looking for. Okay. So a squared will be 7 squared plus 10 squared equals c squared. Remember, we don't know what c is. And we're going to simplify the left side. Okay, so 7 squared plus 10 squared. We get 149. Okay. Our last step is to take the square root of both sides, so that way we can cancel out our exponent, and we're left with c on the right, and on the left side we do a square root of 149. We get 12.2. And that is our answer, 12.2. And then the last question that we have, we got 3 and 7 as the legs, and then the hypotenuse, that is what we're looking for. So we can put A as 3 and B as 7. And so we'll put 3 squared plus 7 squared is equal to C squared. Simplify the left side. We got 3 squared plus 7 squared. That is 58 is equal to C squared. And our last step is to take the square root, so that way we can cancel out that square and be left with C. So C is equal to square root of 58 is 7.6. And that is what C is, 7.6.